Hello everyone, as you can see I look exactly the same because after filming my last video I've just straight away filmed this one, because what I've realised is if I just do one at a time then nothing gets put out for weeks. I need to do it all in one go and then I'm sorted for at least a week and a half, 2 weeks. So this is my July TBR. I have an idea of how to pick my books this month, but first I just want to go through the books that I'm already reading that I need to finish before I start anything else. The first one is The Final Empire by Brandon Sanderson. I have been reading this for maybe 2 weeks now, but I've barely touched it. I've not actually been reading any physical books recently. If you saw my last video, you'll see that last month the majority were audiobooks. This month I really want to focus on reading physical books, even over ebooks and audiobooks. My audiobook listening will go down quite a lot as I'm back in the office from Monday the 6th, which I loved working from home and I really don't want to come back to the office, but I do plan on walking back into the office rather than driving. I've enjoyed the amount of money I've not spent on fuel and I want to continue doing that. It's only a 20-minute walk either way anyway. I use the car more for the fact that I would drop my daughter off at school first and then carry on to work. I still should get 40 minutes a day done at the minimum, so I'll get a couple finished this month, but not as many as last month. Anyway, so I started this a couple of weeks ago. I'm on page 185. I am really enjoying it. Like I said, I've just not been reading anything physically. I've read a lot. Been reading ebooks when I've been reading. I've not read anything in my hand like this. So my priority is to read this one, and I'm also finishing off A Cosmology of Monsters by Sean Hamill. That is a horror arc that I got from NetGalley. It's a really good horror story. The timeline's a little strange, like it goes back in two, but you're not quite sure where you are in the time when it goes to the other place. But as a horror, it's really good. It's definitely something you should pick up if you like horror fantasy. I think I've only got maybe 2 hours, less than 2 hours left of reading, so I'm hoping to get that done this weekend. I'm also listening to 10,000 Skies Above You by Claudia Gray. It's the second book in the series. I can't remember what the first book's called, and I can't remember what the series is called. So I read the first book last year and I enjoyed it. It's the Firebird series. This is the second in the Firebird series. It's an interdimensional travelling novel, and going to different dimensions is like a dream. The first time I read about it in a book was The Subtle Knife. Well, the whole His Dark Material series, but The Subtle Knife is where they go through loads of different dimensions, and I was just fascinated by it when I read it. And since then, any TV series, film, book that I find has got like a dimension switching in it, I will just devour it. It's my favourite. So although the story around the dimensions isn't fantastic, I enjoy the dimensions. It's a young adult fantasy with a love triangle, so it has a lot of like regular tropes like that, but the dimensions is what makes it different. Going on to the books that I want to read, I'm going to first do the ones that are on my library on my phone, and then I'll go on to physical books. So I have 2 audiobooks. One is Children of Virtue and Vengeance by Tony Adeyemi. In my wrap-up I spoke about the fact that I read the first in the series and really enjoyed it, and I'm looking forward to reading and listening to this book. I also have on audiobook The Mime Order by Samantha Shannon, which is the second in the Bone Season series, but I don't think I want to listen to it. I think I want to read it, so I might send that back and request the ebook, or I might just buy the whole series because I love her and I love all her stories, and I know it's something that I will read again in the future. But I am trying not to buy books this month, for reasons I'll explain in a bit. And then the ebook that I have is The Colour of Magic by Terry Pratchett. It's something I've read twice before. The first time I didn't like it, and the second time I enjoyed it, but then didn't read any of the other books in the series, and I would like to read the rest of the series, which I know is a very long series. I requested it maybe 3 months ago and it's only just become available, so if I get time I will read that. If not, I can read it at any point. And then for my physical book TBR, I have become overwhelmed with to be read books on this trolley and on the bookshelves. Just on this trolley, and I have a little section here, and there's also some on my desk behind me, in front of me. I have over 40 books that need to be read. I haven't added any on these bookshelves. I haven't even looked at any of these yet, but I know most of them are unread books because when I moved into this house I picked mostly unread books for this and only a few that I might want to read again. So I decided to really try and make an impact on this before buying more books. I would like to be down to only 20 of these actual books by the end of the year. Probably more, to be honest, but 20 is a good start. And what I've done is I've put all the books in here. This is Zwippy. Used to live in my car, but now we lived here. And every month I'm going to pick out 5 of these. And if I get to all 5, great. If I don't, then it goes back in. But I don't think I'll be able to do it next month because I'm taking part in the Newts. But we'll see how it goes. Some of them I might be able to just pick out because they'll fit into the prompts. But this month we're going to do it for starters anyway. Let's see what this first one is. That is a big book to start off with, if you can see it. Working? Can you see? June. That's the biggest book I could probably start with. So here we have June. I've had this book for quite a while. I've got it from a charity shop. It was either a charity shop or that book exchange library that we have that you either donate or swap out your own books for. And I've heard both good and bad things about this. I've heard some people absolutely love it and some people have DNF'd it. So we'll see. I'm going to keep these here just in case I don't get round to it and have to put them back. Oh, let's check another one. Ooh! So we have Firefight, another Brandon Sanderson. Now where it? Oh, that one's over there. I will definitely get round to reading this one. I loved Steelheart because it's about superheroes and I love superheroes. Yeah, this will definitely get read. I can tell you now. I'm going to read this book. Next one. Let's hope they're not all massive books. Otherwise I won't be reading hardly any of them. It's another big book. A Clash of Kings by George R.R. Martin. I should probably stop right now because I don't think I'm going to read any more after this. Where is it? That one's over there too. It's huge. So, this is on my TBR, but I have read it before. I read it, I think after the 3rd series came out, I started reading the books, but then I stopped. So my plan was to reread them all again. After watching the final season of Game of Thrones, which we won't talk about, I wanted to read them again and get back to the original source. So I read A Game of Thrones last year, or earlier this year, I can't remember, and this has been sat there since. So even though I've already read it, it's kind of still a TBR because I'm desperate to read it again. Even though it's nearly 900 pages long, it shouldn't take me as long because I've already read it and I kind of know what happens, so I'm not going to have to pay as much attention as I would if it was a first time read. So I'll still pick 5 books, but I mean, I've got 2 massive books already, and I've already got 400 pages left of the 600 page books to read. Let's hope this is here and not over there. Ooh! Skin Estate by Cass Carraway. This is a book that I only bought a couple of weekends ago. And I'm really pleased it's come up because I really can't wait to read it. This is a non-fiction memoir about a single parent who lives in assisted housing in the UK. And the back says, "I'm a scrounger, a liar, a hypocrite, a stain on society with no basic morals, or so they say." I've been a single parent on benefits. Thankfully I had my own house. Well, I had a rented house. I know what comes with being a single parent on benefits, and I'm looking forward to reading this. I also wanted to read this pretty soon because I have a friend that will really enjoy this too. And this one, thankfully, is only short and it should be easy to read. And the final book is The Babysitter's Coven by Kate Williams. I meant to read this a couple of months ago and just never did. I won't go into it much because I've already spoke about it on my other videos, but it is a Babysitter's Club twist where they're in a coven. So I'm hoping it's quite similar to the Babysitter's Club. Obviously I don't want it to be exactly the same, but it'll be nice to have that nostalgic look back on what I used to really enjoy when I was probably like a 12-13-year-old. So these are all the physical books that I plan to read this month. I hope I get through at least half of these because these two are pretty big. But yeah, that was fun, being able to just randomly pick the books that I'm going to read rather than just sitting here trying to decide what to read. Let me know what you're reading this month and if you've read any of these, and especially what you thought of Dune, because like I said, there's been mixed reviews about it. So yeah, I hope you have a good reading month and I'll see you next time. Bye!